Hello, it's Mrs. Green. Today I'm going to record a lesson on number properties. We're going to cover some of the number properties, particularly the associative and commutative properties. We have other number properties like identity that we've talked about in past lessons and zero properties. Eventually we'll summarize all of those properties in one place in your notebook, but right now we're going to cover two number properties, and they both have to do with addition and multiplication. So on this page, I want you to write your key information for the commutative property. So your key information. Key info for commutative property of addition. So you have a nice example here. I'll rewrite examples in the example section, but the rule is typed out here. You can add numbers in any order. So one of the ways to remember the commutative property is that commute means to move. Commute means to move. The concepts for these properties aren't too difficult, but sometimes it's hard to remember which one is commutative and which one is associative. So commute means to move. So when the numbers move, you can know that it's the commutative property. And we're talking about addition. So right now, this is the commutative property with addition, and the numbers are moved. The 2 and the 3 are switched around. We also have a commutative property of multiplication. Very similar, but different. Here we have multiplication happening, and the numbers are moved. The 3 and the 2 have switched places. So the definition is very similar. You just have the word multiply instead of add. And again, commute means to move. The second property we're going to do is associative property, and we're going to do that for both addition and multiplication. So the associative property is when the groups change, that the sum doesn't change. So the sum does not change. This is the associative property of addition. When you're adding more than two numbers and you group them, so I like to think of associate. It's who you associate with is your group. Like who you sit with at lunch, who you associate with is your group. So you can see that these two guys here are grouped together, A and B. They're associating with each other. And then B changes his mind and wants to sit at a different lunch table on the next day, so he runs over and he associates with C. So he was associating with A, and then he switched alliances. And he's now associating with his friend C. So for the associative property of multiplication, we've already covered addition. Now we're adding the associative property of multiplication to our notes. And that is when you change the grouping of factors, and factors are numbers that you are multiplying together. So A, B, and C. B and C are grouped together in the first example, and then now B has moved his allegiance over to A. And their product doesn't change. Their product will be the same, whether you group B and C together or A and B together. So again, you're changing your grouping. That's the associative property. I want to add another rule for subtraction. We don't have a rule for the commutative property of subtraction. Instead, we know that because we can subtract a number by adding its opposites, we learned that when we were talking about subtracting integers, you can rewrite a problem as an addition problem, and then you can use the commutative property. So that's an additional rule that I want you to write in your key information, the extra rule for subtraction. So now jumping to the examples. I've got 4 examples here. I've got 2 examples of commutative property, and they're in red here. They're showing that movement we talked about. So the 8 was in the second number, and now it gets moved to the first number. And same thing with multiplication. The 5 is in front, now the 5 is in back. So that's the commutative property of addition and the commutative property of multiplication. So those numbers were moved when adding, and then down here they were moved when multiplying. The second group of the second property that we're talking about is the associative property. So associative property, and we have two examples right here. One of addition and one of multiplication. So we are going to group. Now my grouping's not there yet because I wanted to show how this works. So I'm going to group 2 and 3. So they're eating lunch together this week, and then 3 jumps over and sits at a different table next week, changes his group. And then same thing for multiplication. 4 and 5 are associating with each other, and then 4 is going to change its allegiance and move over to 7. So changing the group. Your practice is here. You've got copy and complete the statement using the property indicated. So I want you to do the math and use the property, rewrite the expression. So you're rewriting these expressions using these 3 properties, 2 properties, but using the property that's next to the expression. And then don't forget to do your wrap up. And hopefully you did your prior knowledge before you listened to the screencast. Okay, bye.